Another free play winner on the Saturday Video Report as I cashed in with the Braves, and I've got two more complimentary plays coming your way in just a moment as I'm going to take a look at the games between the Indians and the A's and the Cubs and the Orioles. Of late here on the Video Report, I've been having some fun because, hell, it's my Video Report. I can do whatever the hell I want to. Giving you a little recap of this day in history. As you know, I like to talk a lot about music because I get bored talking about sports every single day, and music is another passion in my life. And today, a little change up, shall we say. I've often wondered, those of you out there, your average age, I got to think a lot of you are right around my age group, probably with kids as well, and grown up as I've done these video reports over the past, 7 or 8 years or so. And I've got to think a lot of you are a lot older, some of you maybe even younger as well. Going into fatherhood many years ago, my son is now 22 years old. I always thought that going into fatherhood that my kid would be just like me, have a passion about sports. We'd be out there throwing the ball around. We'd be enjoying sports, going to sporting events, all that kind of good stuff. No interest in sports. What sport did he like as a kid? Soccer. And don't get me started how soccer, every kid in the world loves to play soccer in the U.S. as a kid, and it'll never be a passion in the U.S. in terms of soccer catching on because after the kids play it at the YMCA level and the local level, they abandon soccer. It's just one of those sports that kids play when they're young because they don't play other sports. Boom. And then they lose interest. But don't get me started there. We'll move on. That's for another video report another day. But that was his only interest. Boom. We moved on. But what we shared was a passion for music because it was always a passion of mine. He picked up on it early. One of the things that he picked up on really early, and you'll get a kick out of this because you know how kids are so heavily influenced by TV. November of 2000, the Beatles blitzed TV, Apple Music, and everybody blitzed TV with the release of the Beatles' #1 album. He saw these commercials. He's 4.5 years old. He saw these commercials. He didn't really know who the Beatles were, but it was a catchy TV commercial, the Beatles #1, and they played all those little snippets of the song. He wanted that album. He didn't know who the Beatles were, but he heard the little snippets of songs and he wanted. Well, we got him the album, and he became a huge Beatles fan. It's really the first group that he absolutely fell in love with. And it really fueled his interest, his love in music. Well, I got the Beatles, and then I got the Wings' greatest hits. And then suddenly, at the age of 5 and 6, he's listening to McCartney, and then he moved on to George Harrison and then Lennon. And the Beatles and all things related to the Beatles became really the thing that fueled his interest and his love in music. And then naturally, my interest in music passed on to him, everything from the 60s to 70s, unforgettably the 80s, unfortunately, moved on. And his range in musical tastes and the concerts that he's gone to with me and through the years ranged everything from taking him to, from the Beach Boys up to Metallica, from Kanye to Avenged Sevenfold to America to Frampton to Pat Benatar to everything in between. I mean, a wide range of taste. So, first concert I ever took him to, naturally, had to be something Beatles related. Paul McCartney, the Chaos and Creation Tour. 1995, 10 years old, Philadelphia, at the, I guess it was called the Wells Fargo Center maybe then, or the Wachovia Center, who knows? They changed the name of that damn place in Philadelphia every other month. But 10 years old, taking him to that concert, got him great seats. He was just enthralled. Had to be probably the youngest kid there, knew every single word of the album, knew all the Beatles songs, and it was just, what an experience. And I always thought to myself, that's something he'll always remember. First concert ever going to see Paul McCartney. Well, that was the first of 4 times that he has seen Paul McCartney, as I took him 3 more times to see him in McCartney in Philadelphia. Also took him to see McCartney a few years back at at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn as well, and so many other concerts in between. Hell, last year for his 21st birthday, huge Guns N' Roses fan when they announced that they were going to go play at Coachella, which he had been waiting through all the rumors, all the hype, all the hope of maybe GNR reuniting. When they were going to finally do it, they announced at Coachella. What did I do? What a great 21st birthday present. I flew him and his 3 best friends out to Coachella. and set them out so they could do the whole TP experience, do the Coachella experience for 12 hours. They camped out there so they could be right there on the guardrail, to be right there in front, center stage, on the rail to see Guns N' Roses for Coachella. Boy, was that a $5,000 21st birthday experience that they will never, ever forget in Palm Springs. But that's the type of thing. So that's the shared passion that we have together. So when McCartney, out of the blue, decides that, hey, he's going to tour again, announces a few weeks ago or a few months ago, we look and we found where he was going to be. It had to be a weekend show. So we looked someplace that we could go and attend a show. And we found that he was going to be playing in Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, what can I tell you about Shreveport, Louisiana? Nothing. Can't tell you a damn thing about Shreveport, Louisiana. All I can tell you is that it's a 3.5 hour drive from Dallas, and that worked well enough. So off we go to Shreveport, Louisiana, and saw Paul McCartney last night for a fifth time. Brought his girlfriend along last night because she had never seen McCartney. So fifth time, Shreveport, Louisiana. I got to tell you guys, if you have never seen Paul McCartney, it's something to see. The 75-year-old guy, the energy that he has in the show, 2 hours and 45 minutes nonstop. Not like a Garth Brooks concert, by the way, which we saw about a year and a half ago in Birmingham, where it's a sing-along fest because Garth is so out of breath. Still a good show, who only does about 20 shows, but it's a half sing-along fest because Garth just can't simply do the whole damn show himself. Yes, please, no, I can see all you Garth fans out there getting pissed off, but that's the reality. Paul does the entire thing, 39 songs, 2 hours and 45 minutes. Outstanding voice last night. I mean, really outstanding. And you always tell, like Baby I'm Amazed is really the song that you can really tell what type of voice he's going to be in. My God, did he hit all the notes last night? But outstanding. And the venue, CenturyLink Center, I think is what they call it in Shreveport, place I'd never heard of before. And the thing that really annoys me with so many venues, and I've gone to so many across the country, the acoustics. Didn't expect much. What a mistake. Outstanding venue. My God, the acoustics were superb. I thought the best venue I've ever been in for any show, and I've been to a hell of a lot of concerts in the last 30 years, the best venue I ever thought I had been in had been the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. When I saw McCartney there a couple of years ago with my son, I thought this venue last night, hands down, was even better than the Barclays Center. The Barclays Center was great in terms of the acoustics, yes, but I also thought it was a little bass heavy. The thumping bass was a little too much. Last night, this venue holds about 14,000 people. One, for a hot, hot night in Louisiana, it was great, air conditioned, no feedback. You could hear the voices no matter where you were in the venue. The sound was crisp. It was just outstanding. I've been to so many places that American Airlines Arena in Dallas. I'm just thinking I saw Billy Joel there about a year and a half ago. Muddled sound pisses you off when you're paying a couple $100 and you hear muddled sound mixes. You hear feedback. You hear the instrumentals just totally wipe out, no matter who the singer is. And you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, a great show. Tremendous. McCartney gives his usual patter in between the songs. He recaps the Jimi Hendrix story, which if you haven't been to a McCartney concert, he tells you how Jimi Hendrix, they released Sgt. Pepper's on a Friday and they go to see Hendrix on a Sunday, and Hendrix starts the show by playing Sgt. Pepper's because he had memorized and learned the entire thing in less than 2 days. He tells you how there was this great rivalry built up in the press, as he called it, fake news last night between them and the Stones, and yet they were friends. John and him were friends with Keith and Mick. In fact, they were once all out shopping and looking at guitars and Charing Road and in London, and Mick and Keith were saying that they needed a single, they needed a lead-off single to really hit it big, and of course Paul and John gave them that single to really make them break it in terms of radio play. And it's all the stories, and you realize you're You're watching history on the stage. So anyway, that's my latest Paul McCartney story. At the same time, I'm also realizing my son at 22, it's like he doesn't need me to go to these shows anymore. He's got his girlfriend now. He's got his friends. It's like, so probably that's the last time, but it's only fitting. First show ever going to see with McCartney, probably the last concert I'll probably ever see with him was McCartney last night, because there's that needing and wanting. He's needed me, but I don't know necessarily if he wants me to go to any more concerts anymore. But hey, it was a good run while it lasted. Let's move on now to your complimentary plays. Listen, if Ubaldo Jimenez is going for the Orioles, I'm going against him. Jose Quintana is going for the Cubs, making his debut. I went with the Cubs as my best bet last night. I might as well go with them once more today. And I'll tell you what, since the Cubs have been hitting the ball, I was reluctant to go with them on the run line yesterday, because their bullpen has not been great, and because Jake Arrieta has not been great, especially on the road. So I downgraded the play myself to a 5-dime release and played them at minus 140 personally. Today that price is 150, and that's a little rich for my blood. I would go ahead and play them on the run line at minus or plus $1.10 with Quintana. Has Jose Quintana pitched well this year? No, but he does have a 2.70 earned run average in his last 7 starts. Has he pitched well against the Orioles? No. 4.65 earned run average and a 1-5 career mark against the Orioles. I wish that he was pitching against a team in the National League that was not familiar with them. I think it would have been a better move for him to debut against somebody who was foreign to him in terms of seeing his stuff, but you can't pick and choose. So that's why I didn't use the Cubs again today as my best bet. Now, I certainly like the fact that the past 2 days, they won 10-3 yesterday, 16 hits and 3 homers. They won 9-8 on Friday, 10 hits and 5 homers. Do the math, that's 26 hits and 8 homers the past 2 days for a team that hit 239 in the first half of the season. And again, you have Jimenez going for the Orioles. 7.24 earned run average in 6 home outings this season, 5 of them starts. 6.67 earned run average in 18 appearances this season, 13 of them starts. He's allowed 84 hits in 83 and 2/3 innings. 16 of them have been homers. He's also walked 42 batters in those 83 plus innings. So if you do the other math, you're looking at 126 base runners in 83 plus innings. That's another reason to go with the Cubs on the run line. I also like Oakland to complete the 3-game sweep of the Indians. Turnaround's fair play. The Indians took 3 out of 4 from the A's about a month ago at Progressive Field. Now the A's are looking to complete a 3-game sweep, and why not? First 2 games in the series, the Indians looking to build a little momentum. They send out Carlos Carrasco, who's been great on the road. They send out Corey Kluber, who's been unhittable since he came off the disabled list. The A's win both of the first 2 games in this series, 5-0 and 5-3. They've won 6 of their last 8. Now the Indians are sending out Trevor Bauer. I'm sorry, I've never been a Trevor Bauer fan. 5.90 earned run average in 8 road starts this season. The A's going with Sean Manaea. May 31st, the only game that the Indians won in that series, or the Indians lost in that series at home, was against Manaea when he went 7 innings and he allowed 1 run and 3 hits and struck out 9 in a 3-1 win. 2-0 lifetime in 2 career starts against the Indians. 1.29 earned run average with 17 strikeouts and 14 innings of work. He's got a 2.95 earned run average and a 6-2 record in his last 10 starts. In that 10-start stretch, he's worked 64 innings. He's struck out 59 batters. He's walked only 17. Again, I'm getting Oakland. Pick 'em or plus $1.05 to complete the 3-game sweep. I'm going with the A's, along with the Cubs on the run line. Those are your 2 free plays. I wish you well, guys, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.